Cartoons, drawings, and animation are designed for the sake of humor, satire, storytelling, all forms of entertainment and much more. These can range from goofy, comedic, and loony fun like the Looney Tunes, Popeye and SpongeBob. Other times it can be made for adults blending humor and more serious topics like Bojack Horseman, Agretsuko, and Blue-Eyed Samurai. The media of cartoons is vast and nigh infinite, but with that vastness, entities with a more menacing motive can take advantage of such an idea, creating a facade that is corrupted, dark, and sinister. Today we will pit against two characters that oppose each other through sheer nature. Gumball Watterson, the blue cat from the amazing world of Gumball, and Cartoon Cat, the disembodiment of cartoons itself. Two felines will enter the ring and engage in the strangest cat fight yet. Will Gumball prove just how amazing he is, or will Cartoon Cat be the end of him? Today we will find out, because only one will survive in the arena of death. The town of Elmore is home to a very colorful cast of strange, extraordinary, and interesting characters. From a colorful giant, to mass deranged tyrants. They have walking toast and emo ghosts. Along with a jukebox boy and a man from the void. Even a living T-Rex and all sorts of living objects. There is nothing you can find in this town that is remotely normal. Alas, among their population of 20,000 people, there is one family that finds a way to cause the most havoc. Whether Elmore likes it or not, they house the Watterson family, and the most prominent member of the family is Gumball Watterson. Buckle up everybody, because we are in for a loony ride. Gumball Watterson is a 12-year-old blue cat, who goes on many adventures with his adoptive brother Darwin as they go through the struggles of typical suburban life, like going to school, dealing with chores, being late on turning in an overdue movie, dealing with a rival out to completely destroy them, accidentally break the flow of time by running too fast, making sure their dad doesn't accidentally destroy the universe, and making sure they have a budget to sustain their own show, or else they will face the inevitable fate of deletion that comes with every show that has ever existed, perfectly acting as a philosophy lesson that even in our real world there will be an end to everything, and that we cannot continue forever. Just like the show's mere existence relies on a finite budget to keep going, our lives and the world we live in are reliant on the infinite time that we have. Yeah, the typical suburban shenanigans. Born to a lazy but kind-hearted dad and a hard-working and badass mom, Gumball was raised in a household where he would receive unconditional love since his parents wanted to raise him better than how both Richard and Nicole were raised. Of course, this came with some ups and downs. While it strengthened the bond of the family, it did turn Gumball into a rather mischievous but well-meaning child, at times. He is best described as wild, selfish, egotistical, chaotic, and hyperactive. Even at a very early age, he had enough hyperactivity to move around so fast. His perspective of time would move so slow that it would almost appear as if everything was in permanent slow motion. Despite some characteristic flaws, he is still well-meaning, especially to those that he cares about, aside from the occasional exploitation he can commit onto others. So while some of his actions can be problematic, his heart is usually in the right place in the end. Alongside his adoptive brother Darwin, Gumball finds himself in the most ridiculous of scenarios, and with each passing episode, Gumball showcases the sheer insanity of his Toon Force. Gumball being a Toon Force character means he can defy the laws of physics and bend the conventional rules of reality to commit to gags designed to be humorous. This easily applies to his regeneration, as he can easily recover from extremely high falls, being flattened, crushed, stretched to impossible degrees, shredded, being blown up, disintegration, obliteration, pulverization, decapitation, being turned to puddles and dust, losing his limbs, being erased from existence by eating himself, and all with at worst minor scratches for like 3 seconds at most. Gumball can also easily manipulate his body, but moving parts typically impossible to control to such a degree, pull apart his limbs, regenerate limbs, inflate himself like a balloon, manipulate his physiology, change his DNA, morph the shape of his entire body, and he can go as far as to affect others, like being able to literally rip the limbs and faces of others and attach them to other people or objects. Alongside that, Gumball is also capable of breaking the fourth wall, as seen when he stopped a screen transition, shattered the screen with a kick, is well aware that they are the main characters of their show and were aware that they are on TV, is also noticing subtitles beneath him and rearranging them, and so many more examples exist. To even crazier extents, Gumball can quite literally ignore whoever he wants to the point where they outright stop existing. If he chooses to not want to see or hear them, they will cease to be, even preventing the metafictional audience from doing so. There is even a reverse to this, that whatever he thinks, he can construct. How he was able to think about driving and somehow manifested an invisible yet tangible car. There are even more abilities that, while not reality breaking, simply just adds to Gumball's arsenal, like having a hat that grants the wearer luck that makes them invincible and allowing fate to always side with them, being able to manifest sword out of his own self-righteousness, make people dance with Broadway force, pull anything he wants from hammer space, use his imagination to fight others, and just so much more. If we were to list every ability he has, we'd be here forever. Gumball is also renowned for the feats he has accomplished. Even though Toon Force isn't 100% a measure of a character's true strength, Gumball fortunately has actual feats that back up his Toon Force. Gumball is capable cracking Penny's shell, which can withstand lightning, throw a treadmill through a toilet's pipe system so hard that it destroyed the toilet, scales to Penny's father who threw a shoe at the moon and left a mark as if he wounded it, scales to Darwin who once broke every single television their cartoon was being played on with merely his voice, and through environmental destruction and the use of his items, is capable of getting his own show cancelled. No really, in the test where Tobias took the role of the protagonist, it became such a huge problem that the consequences would be cancellation, and it's implied Gumball technically can achieve the same degree that Tobias reached. This means Gumball's whole world could deteriorate on a metafictional scale. This threat is even greater than any other examples of where their entire world was at threat of being destroyed, like when Richard got a job which was tearing apart the fabric of the universe, and when their show nearly lost its budget all because they didn't want to do an ad sponsor. All threats Gumball was able to endure. His durability is also rather ridiculous, as he is able to take on point-blank sneezes from Darwin which can cause earthquakes, hurricane-level winds, and break the screen. He has also endured the destruction of Gorgoroth the Devourer, a planet-destroying entity who created a massive explosion the size of the school, tanked a meteorite hitting him, a nuclear bomb from Bobbert that devastated an entire cities and shook mountains, being launched into space so hard that he flew close to Jupiter, and was unfazed by the Big Bang. Oh, and he isn't a slouch for speed either. Remember when we mentioned that as a child he showcased massively hypersonic speeds? Well, it seems like growing up gave him a huge speed boost, as he is capable of dodging lightning strikes from Masami and lasers from Bobbert, extend his hand into space in mere seconds to give a high five, dodge radioactive waves, and can scale to Bobbert who kicked a ball to the sun in literal seconds. The time frame that it took the ball to hit the sun was 4 seconds, knowing that it takes about 8 minutes and 20 seconds for light to reach Earth. We can estimate the speed at which the ball was kicked reaches speeds of 37,400,000,000 meters a second. Gumball has achieved even faster feats, like scaling to Penny who can fly to deep space in seconds, and during a weird musical scene straight out of Acid Trip with Susie, flew into space and crossed a galaxy in 5 seconds, a feat that would put Gumball 157 million times faster than light. Now, despite all of that, Gumball isn't some invulnerable god. He is still susceptible to harm and can still feel pain. His strength can also be a lot worse than showcased if the plot demands. He looks pathetic. He can break easily in one scene but then tank a universe exploding in the next scene just for a gag. Which showcases that his Toon Force can sometimes just not factor in, but that does demand the plot to do so. Otherwise, like any cartoon, any silly thing can just happen. Aside from that, Gumball is also too egotistical for his own good. He is incredibly lazy and at times cowardly, but his cowardness can easily be turned to bravery if he faces it. Even with that, Gumball is an incredibly unpredictable and devastating cartoon character that has made history in the world of cartoons, both for what he can do, and the impact his cartoon has had in our modern times. Overall, Gumball may not be all that bright, but his manipulation over reality and Toon Force make him extremely powerful and able to survive almost anything.
We both know this is just posturing.
Yeah, but I thought you might bite if I went big. Let's just try to find an actual solution.
The internet is home to all sorts of monsters and cryptids. From the likes of Slenderman, the Rake, the Red Room, and even real-life cryptids like the Mothman, Black-Eyed Children, the Loch Ness Monster, and Bigfoot, these creatures have made a mark in history for the stories they have spawned, and all the horrors that can come with it. In comes a man named Trevor Henderson, a writer and illustrator well known for the cryptids he has created for us to bear witness to. Monsters like Siren Head, Fog Giant, Long Horse, Bridge Worm, Big Charlie, the Puppeteer, and many more horrifying monsters. One, though, is different. One that is perhaps the most ferocious monster he has created, one so violent and bloodthirsty that every other monster in his mythos fears it, one that defies reality and marked itself as one of the most dangerous and terrifying creatures in their world, an eldritch monstrosity that very few have ever escaped from, with even fewer being able to tell of its tale. The embodiment of fear itself, a horrifying Lovecraftian entity bent on the destruction of the very world it torments, a cruel and sadistic monster only known as Cartoon Cat. Now don't let the name fool you, for its name is kind of deceiving. Its origins are mostly speculative, but the most well-known tale of Cartoon Cat was that he was originally a part of an old cartoon back in the mid-1900s, during the golden age of rubber hose cartoons. Cartoon Cat was a part of a failing cartoon that struggled to contend with the likes of Mickey Mouse and Felix the Cat. The cartoon he starred in was different from the others. It was more violent and sadistic, so while it can obtain a niche audience, it wouldn't be popular enough to continue, so the cartoon was cancelled. Yet somehow, whatever Cartoon Cat really is, escaped the cartoon into the real world, and it took form, turning into something entirely different, a cartoon yet not a cartoon, a cat, yet not really a cat. Whatever it really was, the only way to describe it was demonic. Cartoon Cat is known for residing in places typically abandoned, like an abandoned shopping mall, and at times other places like schools, warehouses, and more. These domains belong to him, they are his to control, and anyone that sets foot into it, will become prey. Cartoon Cat possesses abilities similar to every other mythos Trevor has created. He possesses an aura that is capable of inducing odd ailments onto others, bringing you bad luck, and is even capable of breaking reality, although the extent isn't known, as it can be a small domain to something even bigger. Cartoon Cat's body, similar to a rubber hose body, is malleable and allows for cartoon-like regeneration. It can stretch to ridiculous degrees, manipulate its shape and body, and withstand damage typically fatal to normal beings like gunshots and heal it off. With this, he can also change his size to various degrees, to being able to take up a room, to towering over buildings up to 8 to 10 stories. Cartoon Cat also can change what he looks like based on the consensus of what a cartoon looks like, so through sheer consciousness, he can change to what is being conceived. He also has the natural ability to control and distort technology around him, such as messing with lighting and making speakers play music and sound to inflict fear onto others. Now these alone are not what makes him dangerous. Just like how he was able to cross into our world from the cartoon, he can cross to other dimensions. Within the Trevor Henderson mythos, there are 3 universes noted, one being a world with creatures and where cosmic phenomenons happen like a normal thing. All those pictures with the giant monsters across every illustration are in the universe. There are also malevolent beings and ghosts from other dimensions that are encountered. So with these creatures capable of entering our world, Cartoon Cat would naturally have the same ability, but he is a little more malicious with it. In fact, it's stated that Cartoon Cat is such a threat that he is capable of destroying the world, although while that is incredibly vague and up to interpretation as to what that even means, if every other monster in the mythos, including Longhorse and Siren Head, fear him, then whatever destructive capabilities he may have got to be devastating. In fact, it's even further stated by Trevor himself that if every single monster got into a battle royale, Cartoon Cat likely will come out victorious. One of Cartoon Cat's strangest abilities is to erase information about itself, making it so you can't obtain every bit of information about Cartoon Cat to use against him. Fortunately for you all, Death Arena has hundreds of safety precautions to prevent such a thing. Only here do we have all the information and data needed, so take that, you stupid cat wannabe, ha. 1 point for Death Arena, 0 points for Cartoon Cat. Although I don't think we should harp too much on Cartoon Cat, remember, every single monster is terrified of Cartoon Cat. These include giants that are mountainous in size, giants that have an unknown purpose that humans can't comprehend, Siren Head, who not only has existed since the beginning of humanity, but also exists in the form of a time paradox across the past, present and future, in which Siren Head had been the one to influence our modern-day siren designs while also basing their sirens off of ours. This even extends to Longhorse, a creature that can foresee danger, control dreams, and extend to the size of a universe, all while its true form is an existential paradox. While this does imply that Cartoon Cat can upscale to universal to small multiversal beings, it's difficult to take that at face value, as there really is nothing else to support that aside from sheer statements alone. Alas, if true, then Cartoon Cat is a cosmic threat that embodies horror itself. Strangely enough, There aren't any notable weaknesses, as nothing has come close to exposing any, as there are no monsters capable of rivaling or outright beating Cartoon Cat. The most that can be said is that Cartoon Cat doesn't have anything particularly notable to showcase aside from statements being given, and for a cosmic eldritch horror, its ability pool seems to be lacking, but despite that, there is a reason why Cartoon Cat for a time was the face of horror. With its soulless eyes and crooked smile, its malevolence was feared amongst the many horrifying monsters in the world, so if even your greatest nightmares have something to fear, then maybe there is something you should fear more. Overall, as Cartoon Cat's name says, he is a cosmic entity in the shape of a cat from a classic cartoon. He has numerous unique abilities, and is proven to be extremely dangerous.
I know how it's all gonna end. It's just a rerun. A rerun of my favorite episode.
I wonder how many cat puns I can make here. Well, that was one hell of a cat fight now, wasn't it? Now to some degree, it seemed like these two were neck and neck when it comes to power, with both having feats that can reach universal potencies either through scaling or direct feats, but the deeper you look into this fight, the more you realize that Cartoon Cat isn't even scratching the surface. I'd be feline if I said Cartoon Cat even stood a hairball of a chance. Gumball statistically may contend to Cartoon Cat's higher end when it comes to power, but Gumball's feats are more so showcased better than Cartoon Cat, so while Cartoon Cat has to rely on flimsy statements, Gumball's set of feats is more likely to land on its feet when it comes to consistency. Alongside that, not only does Gumball have an answer for anything Cartoon Cat can claw at him, but Gumball just has too many answers to kill Cartoon Cat. Suddenly faced with bad luck, Gumball will wear the lucky hat. Oh, Cartoon Cat is shaping his body? Gumball can do that too. Cartoon Cat bit Gumball in half. He'll just come back from it. Is Cartoon Cat distorting reality? Come on, try something that Gumball hasn't seen. You see, with Gumball's insane arsenal of powers and hexes, far superior regeneration, and far more impactful universe-threatening Toon Force, this battle isn't just a stomp, it's a catastrophe. It's simply hysterical to even think this was a fair fight, as it seems like Cartoon Cat has wasted all 9 lives in this battle. The winner is Gumball.
I was hoping you'd do that.